Hello and welcome to another episode of The Offload. It is great to have you with us here, and many thanks to 15 Kings for their continued support
Go
as
on,
well of the
15 King.
podcast. It's Tommy Bowe here along with Donncha O'Callaghan. Donncha, you're
Yeah.
in... Well, actually, I have two things I want to say. Gee, I'm looking at your name. It's come up, Donncha. Did you never think about putting an A in? Do you know the way
Oh,
everyone called you
yeah.
Donncha?
Yeah. It would
And
be far easier if there was an A in there. You know what I mean? But yeah, because Donncha Ryan spells his Donncha, like, with the A, and I spell,
yeah.
and all the time I get called Donncha or like, do you remember when they used to be calling out the teams?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Donncha O'Callaghan.
or
All the
Dooney
English ones in
another
particular.
one. Yeah.
No, you all right there? Have I upset your feelings?
Yeah, you've upset my feelings. Do you know what? I wish I put the A in it when I'm signing them now for kids, or it's Irish names. I don't know. I'd love to be called Ben, Tommy. Imagine, oh, Tommy, that's a good name. That
Yeah,
would
well,
work.
Bow gets me in trouble. People kind of like Bowie, Bow. But how do you pronounce that? But it's the
Yeah.
same with Murren every morning as well. She gets all sorts like
Remember?
Murine.
Yeah. But Eve was another one. I was away one time with an Eve, and they were like, "Is there an Aofi here?" And they're, "What is that?" Irish
Uh,
name. You're there. Wow, wow. They should. You should. Do you know what you should get? If you go abroad, you're allowed to use another name. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, like, as soon as I go abroad, I'm Ben. Isn't that
Ben
big?
O'Callaghan. How
And
easy would that be?
imagine how life. Do you know why I'm always going with Ben? I remember having to do a signing session with Ben K, and it took me 3 hours. It took him about an hour 20. Just Ben K. Ben. And I was Donncha O'Callaghan. I was a little into this.
Did you ever just think about DOC, the real
D.O.
DOC?
Hey, O'Cal. Yeah, yeah. There's a few disaster dads with D. O'Cal written on them at the moment with signing sessions.
Here, how are you? Because listen, all week we've been talking right November internationals, this is the start of the season. The offload's going to kick back into it now. We're flying. We must do a live show together again. And well, I was in Dublin this morning, and I see you're in Dublin and in studio.
Brilliant. And this just shows how, honestly, all over the shop we can be. Neither of us chatted. Are you actually? We were too busy trying to find a time to do it that we didn't actually realize we could be together.
Uh,
Egypt. Yeah, we got to get back in
Egypt.
the room soon, Tommy, just for pure devilment and crack.
Exactly, it is. It is much better. But listen, thank you everyone who is listening. Fair play to you,
Yeah.
and cheers. I know you've a bit of a hectic day today as well, so thanks very much for coming on to join us. Listen, All Blacks this weekend, loads to talk about that. Ireland team selection, obviously Rory Best getting into the general manager role in Ulster. I'd love to have a quick
Yeah.
chat about that. Even Welsh rugby, I don't know whether we'll even get to that as well today.
Well,
But
we're interested in your views on that. We'll get to it though.
you're mad for this New Zealand match. I'm mad for Halloween. I am up the walls about it. I had the
Oh
face
yeah.
painted on Ireland M this
Oh
morning. I
yeah.
have the pumpkins out. I have the whole lot set. Trick or treating ready. Kids up to high dough. Cannot. Although looking out the window here, the weather is shocking.
The library will get blown away. You've gone all out though, Tommy. Like yours is like an American house, isn't it? You've skeletons at the door and skeletons in the garden and all sorts.
Yeah, I know it's a bit sad, isn't it?
It's not.
Well,
It's not. When you've kids your age, man, that's the way to go for it. Make it.
they love it. Yeah.
They
Like
love
they're out there deciding what should we do with the skeleton? What we do? We stick him on the swing. Yeah, stick him on the swing. It's great crack.
it. Do you know what we did the other day? And it's way harder work than anyone gives any attention to. Cutting pumpkins.
Oh yeah. I know.
Have
Tell
you
me
done
about
that
it.
yet?
Oh yeah. 3 of them done.
Seriously. Like maybe I've poor equipment, but when it came to it, geez, I was nearly sweating by the end of it. And the stuff in the middle, ugh.
I'll give you a tip. Now it's probably not a tip, but do you have an ice cream scoop?
Yeah,
There's the job.
that's the thing to use. You see, there's a right tool for every job, Tommy, isn't there?
There
We're
sure
saying it for years.
is. Honestly, the ice cream scoop is great, and then a nice kind of serrated knife to get a bit
Yeah.
of get back forward on that. But it's
And then,
tough going. Honestly, it
oh,
wrecks. I've kind of only half-arsed the pumpkins this year, to be honest. We've gone full board on everything else, but the pumpkins are maybe second rate.
Yeah, yeah. We've one pumpkin with one eye because no one was arsed doing the second eye. You know that way. And then we've another one with the 6, 7, 6, 7.
Oh, what? Do you actually have a 6 and a 7?
There's 6 and a 7 on it. And they're like, why? Why?
Do you wonder, will you explain this to me? I don't get it. My kids were saying that to me too.
I don't get it either, but I know it's all the go at the moment. And I know actually one of my Jake's buddies got in trouble the other day. The teacher told him to turn to page 67. And he was there, don't do it, lads. Don't do it. And one of them just gave the, hey, 67. It's a meme
told,
way, isn't it?
What's that?
It's a meme of some sort. I don't know.
I think it's LeBron James. Yeah, I think it's LeBron James in basketball. But like my kids, like Jamie's 5 and he's running going 6, 7. Yeah. Then Emma's got the different one. Anyway, yeah, listen, we're past that, unfortunately.
Exactly. I think it's over as well, but it's still just not going away, that way. So
here, will you be getting dressed up?
Will we get dressed up?
Yeah, the kids, like Halloween.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah, they are getting dressed up. There's good excitement about it. So, Tommy, I'm going on the late tomorrow night, so I'm going to miss the chaos of it.
Or tonight for the podcast.
Sorry. Tonight, yes, on tonight. Oh my God, is today Friday already? I've had one of those days, fellas. So yeah, on the late, we're chatting about Ireland's fittest family. So Jenny is taking them on, but what they're doing is they're meeting up with their buddies. They're coming round to different houses and they're playing a few games in the houses first. Like sobbing for apples and stuff, and then they're going taking it on, and then everyone's favorite movie when you have other people's kids in your house, Hocus Pocus.
Can't beat it. Happy days, love that.
We put on a scary one. Are you going to go around, Tommy?
We're doing trick or treating. Yeah, our street's actually pretty good for it, so we'll go trick or treating. There's a load of other kids coming to the house, and as fierce excitement around it. Then we'll end up going round to one of our neighbours and have a drink and stick on Hocus Pocus and leave them at it. Yeah, it's great.
Will you dress up yourself for it?
I might stick on my blow-up Minion outfit again just for a few minutes, but again, looking at the weather out there, might take off. Could be like my tent down at the Ploughing Championships.
Where's Tommy Bowe gone? Yeah, he was last seen there, Malin Head.
A gust of wind took him off there. Is the late going to be Halloween?
I would think so. Yeah. Well, sorry, are we dressing up for it?
Yeah.
That's what I should do. I should dress up as Davy Fitz.
You should.
Have you? Can I borrow your Minion outfit? Sorry, Davy. If I just actually blush in the yellow to red and anger, it could be Davy.
That would be brilliant. You should go dressed up. That would be very funny, and they don't expect it.
Done. But you know what? And you know it better than me. The nervous wreck going on it, but also sometimes you don't want to. Like, remember the last time 2 of us were on together, and we ended up doing the Black Velvet Band, and 2 of us are like, "Oh, geez, make it stop."
I know. Oh, listen, but it's just you just got to go with it.
You do. Sometimes just go with.
Like, I just think when you go with that, when you go on a show like that, you're either all in. Like, if you half-arse it, you're going to come across like
you have to buy it. Definitely.
Remember the time we went on and Carl Mullen was there as well, and we started slagging him off, saying he needs a booster seat. I got some amount of abuse for that. Jeez, you can't say that to somebody about their height. That's heightist.
Do you know what we learnt as well that night? The kind of rugby crack doesn't cross over to kind of like Carl, as much as we love him and all, but he was getting a little bit odd. You know what I mean? Like, the way that was a constant running joke with strings when you'd walk in anywhere. Sorry, could we get a high chair for him?
So I couldn't believe with him as well is that, like, he got a stylist to dress him, so he came out in these fancy Nike trainers.
He was, Carl Mullen, you beauty. So he was blowing on all day that he was getting a stylist. And then, remember, we were getting togged in the dressing room. We were there. Are you getting togged? He was there. I am. And we're like, you're going on like that?
Like,
he had a pair of, like, Nike shoes, wasn't it?
They were high tops.
The stylist saw him on the late and was pissing themselves laughing. It was a bet the stylist had. Could I get your man Carl Mullen to wear this? Oh, what a beautiful boy.
How can we make Carl look cool when he's talking about drones?
Oh, it's too good. It's too good. Good on the stylist. Hey, isn't that an easy job? Actually, you're in that industry. You know what I mean? Styling, that can't be all that hard, can it?
No, do you know, so for you, right? You're a 2XL, right?
Yeah.
Aren't you? Yeah, about 2XL. Mike Ross is a 2XL. Like, Devon Toner is nearly a 2XL. Do you know what I mean? Trying to get people fitted for sizes and all that sort of stuff. That's the killer.
Different, without doubt. Yeah, but picking styles, like everyone just decides this is in at the moment, so everyone just starts wearing it, isn't it? Like you're in the fashion, you're our Gok Wong. What's in fashion now for autumn, Tommy? What should we all be wearing?
You should be well, kind of like the shirt over the top, shirt open over a t-shirt type thing. The overshirt. That's probably been in for a while, but to be fair, that's what's in my books at the minute. That's what we're selling. That's what 15 Kings are selling. Go get yourself some overshirts for Christmas or jackets or whatever else you want. Do you remember like Eden Park used to always do our suits, and everybody would be all tailored in the suits, and the Irish team would be looking slick, and you had cool ties and pocket squares and the whole lot. And you'd come down, we'd have to go to like a function, whatever else. And then Donncha Ryan would all start.
I knew you were going to say you, sir. But Donncha Ryan.
That man had the most incredible ability to make anything he was wearing look shite.
Yeah. He'd come down, right? And your eye would be thrown because you're there. I don't think they're the tracksuit pants. And then you'd realize they are. But he'd have one over his calf, or he'd have like the shoulder off or around it. Yeah. But
he'd always have one collar untucked and one collar tucked. Do you know what I mean?
He's a massive man as well. You know what I mean? And he's like framey. He's like, honestly, it's like scaffolding, isn't it? Trying to suit him up.
Poor old Eden Park, like they put so much effort in, and then front of the picture, their skin with the tie undone and the belt buckle sticking out the side and the shirt not tucked. Unreal. Good times.
But do you remember we'd have different committees, and the clothing committee, that's quite a prestigious one to be on. So it'd be the likes of yourself, Dennis Hickey. I think Rog was on it for a while, and then he got booted off it. Remember when he started dressing in the same outfits as Eddie O'Sullivan? he was taking, the fashion police fired him from the clothing committee after that. But the one that I remember was Tomas, and you're right, I don't know, was it McGee or Eden Park were doing the suits for the World Cup? Remember Tomas was sent off with Jer Carmody?
To Paris.
Paris and Eden Park. Do you remember? He was ahead of the game, man. He was looking like Peaky Blinders before Cillian Murphy even got going. Do you remember he had
That's right.
He had the kind of Shelby hat and the long jackets. We were all like, what in the name of God is this? And he's like, what? It's this.
That was 2015 World Cup. And you're right, we had those Peaky Blinders hats and the full-on trench coats. Going to Australia with the heat.
Tomas, what a boy. What a boy.
Oh, jeez. It was New Zealand time, but it was warm as their summertime. Oh, jeez, that was so funny. It's like, what? I swear, like, I only remember we had a social the night after winning the Australia game, beating Australia in Eden Park, and everybody came. I must have to see if I can have a photo of it. Everyone came down to the team room, and we all had the Peaky Blinders hats on. It was like the only time we ever wore them the whole tour.
We brought them to Australia. Unbelievable.
That's so funny. Did you ever have any good fancy dress outfits? Because remember, like with Munster and Ulster, we used to always have fancy dress days.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it got a bit bad sometimes. Some of the outfits, like you'd nearly have to cover up your faces great so you could like not get in trouble. Like if you got up to any trouble, you're like, who was that fella? It was Mario. I don't know who was dressed as Mario.
But that was it. It was my time with Worcester. I remember we went to the Ali Pali for a Christmas team bonding, and everyone was kind of dressed up in different outfits. But at one point, you know the way like nights go, and they always kick on, and you know better than anyone, Tommy, it always ends up in a fight among ourselves, doesn't it? But I remember having to separate a fight between Where's Wally and Popeye, you know, two of my teammates. I don't even know who they were. I'm just judging it by the outfits and just being like, leave it off, lad, will you? Where's Wally? Leave him off. Stop trying to gouge him.
Oh, so good. I
Uh,
loved it. Like we'd have one where we all had to dress up as those green soldiers. Do you remember like the green
oh, yes.
soldiers? Oh, and the
From
whole squad, like full head to toe green face paint, the green, and like we'd be marching up and down the main street.
yeah,
Some
that's
crack.
we'd another one of golfers one time. You know what I mean?
Oh
Everyone
yeah.
dressed up in those kind of +4s and that checky kind of shirt. It's just good crack.
Oh,
You going around in it.
I
Yeah.
miss those days. They were
You
good
know what I love
times.
though? I love the ones that nearly buy in completely. You know, like that just go nearly over the top in the outfits. You know that, and the kind of homemade the better. But I also love someone that's barely arsed. You know what I mean? That's like, who are you? I'm the groundsman, and you're there like, ah, geez, you're just wearing his overalls. You know?
I know, but it used to annoy me when people didn't buy into it.
Oh,
To me, if we're
seriously?
doing fancy dress, well, all right, maybe the overalls go on the ground, but like whenever like people are all dressed up and then someone's just coming on, just being a bit of a Scrooge about it, I was like, come on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
we're in it as a team here. I remember a couple of lads like used to dress up like as the team physio, and he'd have like the bag and he'd have a shower head sticking out with
I
um,
understand it.
ah good,
Do you know
so
what I
so
must
funny.
say? The Jazz was on in Cork last weekend, and maybe you're seeing it in your industry, but fashion has gone through the roof, hasn't it? I could not believe the amount of, and I'm just picking on the lads here, in proper suits, like fully decked out. Maybe it's for the Jazz and it's associated with kind of racing and different things, but you know, like lads are looking groomed going on nights
Mm,
out. There's no more
yeah.
of the kind of shackets. No one's dressing like Carl Mullen anymore. Everyone like honestly proper suits, tailored suits, looking the bomb.
Yeah. No, it is. Well, people are just taking a bit more pride in it. That's
Yeah,
why we've started selling blazers. So if you
brilliant.
want to go get yourself a good 15 Kings
Sorry,
blazer
I
yourself,
wanted to teeing it up for you to plug 15 Kings yet again.
no, it is. Well, I think maybe the Jazz, to be fair, is a little bit different from heading
Yeah,
out to Main Street Cork now. But yeah, I suppose people are getting dressed. I don't know. I actually think people are dressing down a little bit more. People are a bit more comfortable going out in the runners. You don't see fellas really in the
well,
brogues and all anymore.
here's what I think's happening, right? People are dressing down for work and they're dressing up to go out, if you know what I mean. So it's like full on suits going out, and then it's like shackets and t-shirts for work. You know what I mean? Casual Friday. I'm your
You're right.
accountant in a fucking Bon Jovi t-shirt.
Let's go through your accounts here. Are you
Exactly.
having a lap? You got to get changed first.
I'm telling you,
Uh,
if you're my solicitor and you're coming out to me in a t-shirt and a pair of jeans, you can get back in the door. I don't want to hear it. Get in the tug out, will you?
Lucy used to always go mad at me because when you're with Ulster, or you're with in Munster camp, whatever else, you're spending your time in tracksuit bottoms and shorts. So like when if I was going to relax, I'd come home and put on a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. She was like, "What are you doing?"
I get that too. I get that. Where a pair of jeans actually feel like, oh yes, I'm dressing down.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I spend all day in my fucking shorts and t-shirt. I just want to go and stick something on that feels a bit more normal. Right, let's move on to a bit of rugby. But before we do that, we've got a bit of exciting news, some major exciting news. The offload is going live. Yoo-hoo!
Here we go, Tebow.
So we are going on tour next year. We're going to be in the University of Limerick on March the 4th, the Ambassador in Dublin on March the 8th, the Mac in Belfast on March 10th, and Cork City Hall on March 13th. Very excited about that. And to cap it all off, right, wait to hear this. To celebrate, we have got 10 match
How
tickets.
many?
10, 10 match tickets for Ireland against Japan in the Aviva
What?
next
Where'd you get
week
those,
to
Bo?
give away.
That's all right, isn't it?
It's not bad, is it? Exactly.
Oh,
So
wow.
listen, offload followers, we know huge, big rugby fans here. We've got 10 tickets to give away for Ireland against Japan. So we want you to get into the draw to win these tickets. We'd love to give them away. So we want to give them out to somebody or to people who buy tickets to our live show. So head over to ticketmaster.ie or click the links on our social media. Grab yourself a ticket or a few tickets for one of our live shows. And we want you to tag it on the post, on Offload's social media post. as proof of purchase that you've bought it. We'll put you into the draw, maybe even tag a friend who you're going to take along with you, and you can pick up those last tickets. And of course, if you do not win the tickets on this draw, there are tickets still available for Ireland against Japan next week on ticketmaster.ie. And of course, we would love to see a full house there at the Aviva Stadium for that. It's going to be a cracker of a match.
It's going to be a great game, especially with how close Japan pushed Australia. And it's at a good time as well. Can I just say, if you're looking to kind of go to the match with family, and especially when I always think of it as a parent, that isn't a bad one to get. You know what I mean? Early kickoff. You could be
early kickoff.
Yeah, get along to Ireland versus Japan. It should be
and South Africa play Japan this weekend in London as well. So, I mean, it's going to be a pretty classic match. Last time they played each other in England, it was a famous Japan win back in 2015, the Rugby World Cup. So, listen, we would love you to buy some tickets. Maybe Christmas presents for somebody dear in your life. Rugby fans, people who can't buy Six Nations tickets. The Offload Live is going to be in March. It's going to be around the Six Nations, and we'd love your support to come along and watch. And of course, if you do, tag on social media that you're coming along on the social media, on Offload social media posts, and we'll enter into the draw.
Yeah, let's be honest, Tommy, we're delighted to be doing it, getting around the country, but there is no doubting we will be a nervous wreck. Like, I honestly remember how bad we were last year when we did it in Dublin. This time doing it in Limerick, in Belfast, and in Cork as well. I think the two of us will be planking ourselves, but we'll have plenty of fun, we'll have plenty of crack, and we promise it's going to be a great night. So do get along. Tickets go on sale at 10 o'clock today. That's Friday, 10 o'clock. So do go check them out on Ticketmaster or the venue, or follow any of the Offload social medias, and we'll leave you know how you can get involved.
There you have it. Right. Okay. It's time to talk rugby. But before we do that, let's take a listen to some of these. Thank you so much for listening to the Offload podcast. We would love if you joined us in the dressing room. Every Tuesday night, you'll get the opportunity to get exclusive content. We'll have no adverts, and you get into the draw to win some badly needed and much loved rugby tickets.
You're not wrong, Tommy. There you go. Step into the dressing room. Head to offloadpodcast.com. That's offloadpodcast.com. And for €6 a month, you could join us in the dressing room. We'd love to answer your questions.
We sure would. You putting the boots on?
Let's go, Tommy. Let's tug out.
Right, rugby time, the big one. Ireland against New Zealand in Chicago.
Oh, I can't wait.
How excited are you? Yeah, go on, tell us.
I'm very excited for it. Sorry, I'm in a kind of glass case of emotion at the moment. So, no, genuinely, Jake is playing at half time between Munster versus Argentinian 15 in Thomond Park. So
what?
You know the way the underage play at halftime in the games.
Is he?
He's playing at halftime against Crosshaven. He's playing against Harry Casey, a buddy of mine that I went to school in. Harry's Crosshaven team are going up against our Cork team, and I'm a nervous wreck over it, man. You know what I mean?
Wow, are you coach? Or are you not? Are you kind of?
I'm a coach that helps out, but I won't be a kind of coach on the pitch. That
you won't be on the pitch.
There's only two coaches, and yeah, it'd be a bit weird, wouldn't it?
Oh man, that's class. That's exciting, isn't it? How is he buzzing?
He's absolutely buzzing. He genuinely is. And do you know what? It's great for me to kind of see it. But do you know what? I'm kind of getting that. Like, if I'm getting that for him togging out in an under-18s 9-minute game in Thomond Park, I was just thinking, imagine the joy like Mario O'Callaghan and your parents had. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Big time. Yeah, class.
It is. It's a good one to see. So,
are the nerves?
The nerves, yeah. And especially for, well, actually, you were a finisher. No, I always feel for hookers, 10s, and fullbacks. Isn't that the kind of, you don't want to be the parent of any of those?
Yeah. Well, fullbacks, like, listen, I remember early doors, there'd be a kick-off, or there'd be, whatever, and there'd be an up and under would always go on you in the first couple of minutes. Yeah. And it'd land on your head, and if I dropped it, he'd just leave. Because he'd know I'd fall apart.
Brilliant.
That's the end of that.
What a way to get in beside you. Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. Well, listen, even for second rows, those kickoffs, the pressure, I used to always hate that. You run out to the international, you're buzzing, you're ready to go, and you're standing there waiting to receive the kickoff. I nearly prefer having the kickoff to run up and make a tackle. I hate having received that first ball just in case you get smashed or drop it. You know, you don't. It's the worst way to start a game.
Yeah, it's true. And especially at an underage level, you know what I mean? Like, Thomond Park will be hopping for this match. So, yeah, we're trying to find out the best place in Limerick to watch the game after the match, after the Munster game, because we won't make it back down to Cork by the
Okay.
time kick-off and the New Zealand game kicks off. But I can't wait for it. Jeez, we got the team in and everything. Tommy, you might take us through it in a bit, but it's exciting. It's exciting.
Well, it is. And listen, best of luck to Jake. That's really, really
Sure.
exciting for him as well.
Yeah,
Right.
see you
So
in
we've
Thomond
got
Park, Harry Casey. You're going down, fella.
so there's 7 Leinster forwards I'm counting here in the starting 18. Everyone bar Ty
Nice
Byrne.
game.
Dan Sheehan is obviously starting as captain with Caelan Doris on the bench, which is great to see him back. Gibson Park, the big one, of course, is Jack Crowley. We talked about him in the minute. Stuart McCluskey is in ahead of Bundy Aki with Ringrose in centre. James Lowe, Tommy O'Brien on the wings, and Osborne on fullback as well. Right, go on. You might as well, as a Munster man, how delighted are you to see Jack Crowley at 10?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's in form, really, which is the only way you probably could pick it at the moment. I just think he's been running hot, but I also hope he uses it now as the opportunity. Like, have no doubt in it. You know, like, I know this might sound awful, but the scar of what has happened to him could be one of the greatest things he looks back at in his career, to kind of know that that was the moment that he kicked on. You hear all
Yeah,
the chat about him not taking his summer off and training and stuff like that. Well, that's nothing new in our game. Like, we know the fellas that always do that. You know what I mean? But that's what you get when you work the hardest in the room. You get the rewards, you get the bit of luck, and you get the
big time.
performances that he's been getting. I just
Big season for him.
yeah, it is a big season, but it's going to be difficult, Tommy, isn't it? Like, if you just look at the team there and just the amount of lads that are a little bit undercooked, you would be nervous going into it a bit, wouldn't you?
Well, you would be, like, particularly when you're talking 7 of the starting 8 from Leinster. I mean, Porter, Sheehan, Furlong, Ryan, uh, Van der Fleer, Conan, even and Byrne, all coming off the Lions. Obviously, Ty Byrne had a fantastic match in that interpro between Leinster and Munster, but those boys, yeah, they haven't played much rugby, going straight in to take on the All Blacks. But I do believe that Andy Farrell has a way to try and get the best out of them.
Yeah.
If you're
And I,
talking about form, I have one person I feel a bit sorry for, and that's Jacob Stockdale. I do believe he's been playing exceptionally well last season, exceptionally well started this season. And I know Osborne is a favourite and he's an absolute class operator at 15, or even Low on the wing, or Tommy O'Brien. I just think Jacob Stockdale has played really well and he's been knocking the door for a while. He's obviously picked up injuries at the wrong time, but I did feel that this would be an opportunity for him to really put his hand up. So I feel sorry for him, but they are undercooked. There's no doubt about it, particularly coming up against an All Blacks team who've played so much high quality rugby, and the Rugby Championship this year has been phenomenal. But you just got to think that in Chicago, they haven't been doing much media, where the All Blacks are trying to grow the All Black brand. They're doing photo calls and radio interviews and doing everything. And you just think that maybe they're just keeping their head down and focusing on this. It was going to be a cracker of a match.
I thought it was quite the opposite. I haven't heard a whole lot from the All Blacks, and I see us at the basketball, the ice hockey. It's like the lads are on a stag.
Well,
Having
maybe
all
that's on their social media. Maybe that's them. The All Blacks are doing a charm offensive over in New Zealand or in America. They're like meeting the fans, where maybe the Irish lads are training and going off and having a bit of a jolly.
Yeah. But look, I think that's when we chatted to Zeebs last week, he was there. That's what made that week so special. The way
Yeah.
it was so different. You know what I mean? Maybe kind of going and relaxing and being totally out of the goldfish bowl is good for Irish lads. And look, I don't fear that Andy will be able to get a beat out of this group. It's just, it is a pity. I found this with the All Blacks match in the Aviva last year, when we kind of come in undercooked a little bit to go up against such quality as like New Zealand. It could
Yeah.
be really, really difficult. One thing I feel about the selection, though, I know you're going on about the 7 forwards, but I think everyone's in their right spot, if you ask me. Like, you could have maybe looked at putting Tig to 6. Maybe that would have been an option, or maybe Jack Conan to 6, and you know what I mean, trying to work a way
Hmm.
to get Doris into the team. But I the big one I feel is Ryan Baird. Like that, 6 jersey is up for the go, I feel, a little bit. And I think it's his to nail down if he can make it, you know what I mean, with big performances. He's
Yeah.
definitely be given the opportunity now to make that shirt his own. I just think he needs probably a performance that reflects that a little bit, and that he could go on and have an incredible career in that. Like, he's got all the talent, an incredible athlete, an incredible skillful player. But I always like the fellas that put the knife in someone, you know what I mean, that finish off Peter O'Mahony. And I don't think he did. And I want to
Yeah.
see a little bit from him this weekend, that he wants to make that shirt his own. Jack Conan at 8, I do believe he's an 8. I understand with Doris that you try to facilitate both of them, but I think if someone like Ryan Beard wasn't to go well at 6, would you look at that again? That maybe Jack in time could play on the blind side, or would you look at alternatives? But I do think it's
Well,
a
what do you think about Tig Byrne for 6? Because he's world class at
yeah, he is.
6. He's
Yeah,
world class at second row as well, but he just doesn't have maybe the size. But maybe do we not have the size in Irish rugby to replace him? You know, like with the likes of Henderson being picked again, and like
yeah,
I'm delighted to see another Ulster man in there. Hendy is fantastic. My fucking fear is that Hendy's going to go and he's going to play a couple of games here. He's going to get injured,
yeah.
and we're not going to see him playing for Ulster for the rest of the season. And that's what happens all the time, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's the top end stuff. Yeah, it is. And like, I remember saying that to you before. Remember we were chatting about the Ulster jersey launch, and all I took away from it was Hendy looks really well conditioned. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? He looks really fit, and that's what Ulster have been at the moment. You're right, they do need a probably full deck, but this is why you do it, Tommy. You do it to play
of course.
internationals, and that's what Ian want. You know what I mean? Of course, he wants to tug out with Ulster, and he'll always wear his heart on his sleeve when he does. But it's all to tug out nationally, you know. And I think he'd be frustrated in ways. But you asked the question. I thought it was interesting hearing Victor Matfield saying that he's on that committee for picking World Player of the Year, and I just thought, whatever about the Lions' performances, to come in after what he did in the summer, and then we hear that he's after getting an operation, and he was incredible in the Leinster match, wasn't he, Tyke?
Yeah.
I fully think he needs to be in that conversation, doesn't he? As
Oh,
World
no
Player of the
doubt.
Year.
With his Lions performances, he is in that conversation.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
only thing going against him is that the rugby championship was so top notch this year.
very true, very true. Yeah, yeah. But I like him as well, though, in terms of, I know this sounds nuts, but your great leaders have it. The Drickos, the Paulies, in the oh shit moment, they still have the balls to go make it happen. You know, like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Him going for turnovers when, you know, the rest of us would be like, oh, stay clean.
Hmm.
Whereas he's there, no, I'm going to win this game myself, you know?
Well, he epitomized everything that Munster were that day, and he
Yeah,
like led from the front, captain. I'd say in a little way he's a bit gutted that he's not been named captain for this game again. I think that Dan Sheehan, listen, it's a toss of a coin between the two of them, but I think he certainly earned that. It's going to be a cracker of a match. I absolutely cannot wait for it. There's huge hype over there. It's a complete sellout. So many Irish people going over there. Do you think that they'll do anything? Obviously, there was the number 8 for
yeah,
Anthony Foley last time round. Like, do we look too much into this? Do you think that they'll do something around the Haka? I mean, I think that, in my opinion, I think the time has passed. I think unless there's a poignant moment like that. What did you feel? For me, right, like I'm a winger.
mm,
Going into these matches, you're obviously pumped up, ready to go, but you're going toe to toe with the All Blacks. These boys are like they're made of something different. It's
yeah,
like granite, these
yeah,
lads.
yeah.
Whenever you're as a second row facing that Haka, what's going through your mind whenever you've had to do it?
Yeah, I suppose from learning, and I'll be honest with you, at the very start, Tommy, I probably didn't have an overall appreciation of the respect that it is. And it took, and I've told you about this before, it took actually Nick Williams, who we would have played with. You played with him in Ulster, and he was with us with Munster. Unfortunately, he was injured an awful lot with us, but he was leaving. And I remember he was leaving, and Rua Topoki, Laifimi Mafi, Doug Howlett, an awful lot of their Kiwi friends. We were up in the Maryborough Hotel having a few drinks and saying goodbye. and they performed a Haka for him, and oh my goodness, man, it was incredible. And then it starts the conversation, and you're there like, you know what I mean? You see it's done out of absolute respect for Nick and his family, and that's what they're doing there, and that massively changed my perception of it. Before, I used to think it was nearly for intimidation reasons. It's not at all. It's a challenge, 100% it, but it's a massive respect thing. Personally,
It is.
I hope we don't do something just for the sake of it. I think when it warrants it, doing something is right, but it can't be forced and contrived or made up. There are moments that I have loved. I loved the Welsh standoff. Do you remember that?
Loved it. Best
Yeah.
ever.
Or the actually,
The French
who
did
was
something cool as well.
French with the flag? You know, they had their tricolour. They were all in different sides of it, and didn't who else had we? Didn't we have Philip Matthews pulling
Oh
their
yeah, and Davy Irwin and
Davy?
Willie Anderson. Yeah, that's some video. I love that.
Do you know one I always think is a good way though, and I it was the women's team this year stepping up. I think that it's a simple little thing you can do just at the end of it to step forward to accept.
Hmm.
I think that's always a nice touch.
Right. So you've talked there about the respect of it. I don't know, is it fair? Listen, it's there because it's wonderful television. People are going to tune in to see the Haka. But you just said it's a challenge. It's an amazing motivator for them. It didn't do much for me. Like, it was amazing to maybe face it, but it's hard to not be intimidated by it.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, because you're right. Remember, after it, we'd say we'd take 2 minutes, one to kind of get warmed up again and maybe hit a few pads and stuff. But you're right. Like there, it is an emotional driver and pitch for them to get ready for. But I think it's absolutely worth it. Like
Yeah.
I just see the honor side of it, and I think that's worth it. That overweighs the maybe emotional advantage that they have.
Like,
I'd say it might be a bit of a burden for them as well. Like genuinely, like choreographing that. You know what I mean? Genuinely, like they have to practice it, Tommy. You know what I mean? Imagine if like when you're heading off to the cinema, they're probably, you know what I mean, doing Haka practice. No, you're not having that.
they probably are. Yeah, absolutely say they are.
Well, like,
But
like everyone is so in sync, and I know they learn it at, you know what I mean, from school, boys and girls up. But
they've their
eh,
own separate one now. So the new one, the new All Black Haka, is different to the old Combat Day. Combat. This is a new version,
yeah,
that they wanted to trace back to their. I'm actually reading the book, the Legacy book, the All
ooh,
Blacks book. Have you ever read it? It's
yeah,
amazing, amazing book.
yeah,
Looking in the success and the heritage of the All Blacks, and like, I've huge respect for it, but I do, like, as somebody maybe, and as a supporter, I love watching. I know my son Jamie and daughter Emma are going to love watching as well. But I just do think I do think it does give them a little bit of an advantage. Like, when you were facing it, because you had to kind of go through your head going, these guys are normal. These
yeah,
guys are normal. Yeah, they're not better than me. They're doing this here and slitting their neck and doing all these funny, like, faces,
yeah.
whatever else. But you had to kind of, like, forget all that in your head and just kind of use it as a motivator. As a second row, I just wondered if it was different for
Yeah,
me and
no,
the women.
I think that was helpful to me. Being around the likes of, and honestly, not just name, but Rua Tapoki gave us a massive cultural education. Even the fact that that when they performed, when Munster played the All Blacks and the four lads
Yeah,
performed that haka, and just the night before it, I wasn't in the team meeting, but the lads speak about how Rua spoke and how he teed everything up and explained everything really well, and talked everyone through the different roles and what they would be saying and how it was meant to be received. Just give an overall awareness of that. It's quite deep in
okay.
culture, and I think do you know what? I don't know. Do we celebrate different cultures and enough? You know what I mean? For them to be able to go out and show that, I think that's really important. You know what I mean? Like you would have
Yeah,
heard
but
years
we don't
ago.
get to do anything. Do you know what I mean?
I know, but we
Like,
don't
why
do.
do they get to do it if we don't get to
I
do
know, but
something?
you're telling me if Drico went right, we're going to actually do a jig set
I
to.
know we don't have anything. Like, we don't have anything. So it's not fair. Do you mean? You're like, we don't have anything, therefore you're not allowed to do your something. Because if you do something and we don't have anything, then you're 1-0 up.
Do you
I
remember
remember
Derry?
actually Keane Healy were playing against the All Blacks a good few years ago, and Keane was one person you never wanted to see his name down to do media the
Oh,
week of a match,
yeah,
because fuck knows what he's going to say, particularly against the All Blacks.
exactly.
And he came out one day before the match, said, "Yeah, no, I don't think they should be allowed to do the Haka.
Oh,
I don't
jeez,
agree with it."
perfect.
And
In it
the
everywhere.
morning of the match, front of the sports segment in all the papers, Keane Healy, "Don't respect the Haka." Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
wild.
We're like, oh, yeah, just go and set a match under them, Keane. Where are you going there? Leave them off now.
There we go.
So, yeah.
Well, you don't mind. At least he's going to tug out. The one that used to annoy me was when media did it. You know what I mean? Like, you're there,
Yeah.
oh, geez, he piped down. You don't
Hey, take it easy on the media today now, all right? You've had your rant on the media last week. Give them a break. It's the green media now.
We're on the
Here,
good way. The green
so
media.
Ireland are
Actually, just
8.
on that, can I say one? And maybe it's not only our own media, but I get a sense at the moment that like there's a bullseye on the Irish team. I think people have enough of talking us up. I think, you know what I mean. It's what's that called? Tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah.
That we've done well with all the Leinster lads and Irish lads that were on the Lions tour. I think if the autumn wasn't to go well, that they would rip in Tandy, you know, and they'd
The
rip into
knives
the
are out.
lads. Yeah, they are. They definitely are. And the only thing that can sort it is performance, but it's known it as well, even at the time, that I just feel not even our own media, but I do think kind of world rugby media wouldn't mind us falling over a little bit, you know,
Mm.
and they wouldn't mind blaming the aging squad and different things that.
Well, that's kind of a little bit of my question with the squad, because you'd get forgiven. We're 2 years out from World Cup. You get forgiven for bringing through, and like, there is O'Brien there and Osborne. There are young lads in that squad, no doubt. But like, there's a kind of a want to kind of change the guard a little bit, and then maybe there's not the amount of change that are needed. Like, and you're right, Andy Farrell needs to win this game, needs to pull out a huge performance, and is stuck with a lot of the guys, and he's picked the team that he thinks will do the job. But as you say, you kind of get a bit of forgiveness if you're saying, well, I'm building for the next 2 years.
Yeah, which he doesn't do, and I
No.
love him for it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I love that he respects the cap. I love that he respects everyone, that it's hard earned, and that, you know what I mean, there is no talk of, 2 years time, because you know it, Tommy.
Yeah,
International windows as a player, it's if you're lucky enough to get tomorrow. You know what I mean, and that's what I
big time.
love about the Irish setup. And I'll be honest with you, I think that group as well. They like everyone. Like, we've such a small playing pool. It's grand for the likes of England and South
Hmm.
Africa to go on about, strengthening depth, but we do so well, man. I wish some of the kind of media would talk about how well Irish rugby has done over the last while to be at the top end for so long. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah. Well, I think they have, but then that story gets old. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, on to the next one. Let's rip. It's like it's always new cycles. Build them up, build them up, build them up, and then tear them back down again.
yeah,
Ireland are 6.5. No, actually, New Zealand are favourites.
yeah,
Pretty much 7 point spread for them. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Like, we've been on the receiving end of some pretty tough,
we
tough days
absolutely have. What's
against the
that,
All Blacks.
ref? 23 minutes. Oh shit! Blow it up, please.
It's like Mick O'Driscoll with the big red face on him. Dan Carter goes round him for the third time, and Mick goes off with a bad back.
I've had it a few times. I had it in 2005 with the Lions. You know, when you're playing in a match and you're there, oh my God, look how good that guy is. Dan Carter, man. I remember being on the pitch kind of going, is he like, like in computer games where they have, like, you know what I mean? If in Mario, when you get the star and you can do whatever you want. Dan Carter, he was bouncing fellas round and like, How good at rugby is this fella?
I feel bad slagging off Miko. Miko, listen.
No, I don't. That fucker, he legged it.
And I was like, when the going gets tough, Miko gets going. When the going gets rough,
It, be-
Miko is off.
it
Off.
became a call for the tour, wasn't it? Taxi for O'Driscoll. That's taxi for O'Driscoll.
I mean, no harm, Jamie Heaslip. Didn't he get sent off or something? That
Jamie
stage.
got
I
sent
think.
off, and 2 minutes later, Miko was like, I have a back spasm. And we were there. We all have a fucking sore back and arse now. Just fucking dig in here. Oh, wow.
Best of luck, lads. Best of luck. Some
Yeah.
other great matches on this weekend again. England against Australia. It's going to be a cracker. South Africa, Japan, and Scotland against the USA. And of course, Munster against Argentina. Halftime show. It's going to be class.
There you go. The big one. Cork on versus Crosshaven at half time. 9 minutes.
Here, I want to talk to you about a little bit closer to home. Ulster Rugby have named Rory Best as their new general manager.
Wow. Yeah, come on, you give the goss here because you're more inside. Like I will say, I'm kind of glad to see it. I know Rory's standards. I know his traits as well, and he is. Sorry, I find him fiery and direct, and sometimes I think in a rugby environment that is a brilliant thing to have someone in the room that will call out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What would you call it? The honest appraisal, to actually grab the bull by the horns, to grab the nettle, to say whatever way you want, but to actually go in there.
He's been such a good captain. Yeah, like it is. He's got huge respect, but he takes no bullshit. That's exactly what you're saying, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I always found, especially with him, he'll hold you to account. And that's what I feel that role is, that kind of general manager. It is one with the rugby department side of it, if this is my understanding to be right, but also the kind of pathways to make sure the school system and the club system is motoring right. And I think he's highly credible when you put him in those areas, isn't he?
He's the perfect person for the role. I think you see Cossy's in that role with Munster. You have Guy Easterby's in that role with Leinster. I think they have a new person in that role in Connacht as well. And it's kind of the link between the head coach and the CEO. So they're pretty much the CEO of the rugby game. And it's not just the senior team. They're bossing, exactly like you said, the pathway. How are they going to bring through these school players? How are they going to build up club rugby and try to just let Richie Murphy or let the head coaches look after the senior 15 or the senior team, and they're going to manage everything else around it. And I just think Rory is such experience in the game. He is such admiration from people in all provinces, in worldwide rugby, in Ulster in particular. He's an Ulster hero, but he's also going to be bringing in the signings. He's going to be the person having to sign players. And to have somebody like Rory Best with the stature that he has, the amount of times he's captained Ireland, going and talking to these players to try and get them to come to Ireland, come to Ulster, I think he's a brilliant asset. And I'm just, listen, Bryn Cunningham was in that role for the last, I think, 11 years. Did an absolutely fantastic job. But I think the time is right, maybe for Bryn. He made the decision time was right to step away. Fresh blood, and with Richie Murphy, he's really got a young squad there. So it's going to be a real challenge for Rory to try and bring through a few young players, because obviously they have Angus Bell, the front rower from Australia, is going to join the team just around Christmas time. You have Augustus, the number 8, but Ulster have a lot of young players who are top quality players, but they need that bit around it as well. So great signing. Really looking forward to him. Delighted for him as well.
I find this role interesting though, because in my head, I wonder, like, this is a difficult, stressful role, Tommy. Like, genuinely, like, his ass is on the block. Like, if Richie is accountable for the rugby performance, but the pathways and the acquiring players and trying to get the balance, he's got to be thinking long term. He's got to be thinking like kind of 5 years down the line, and he's got to have difficult conversations with Richie. I'm just picking, if Richie wants to sign a certain player, but Rory knows I want to develop them from within, and like that's going to burn you for a little while, but he's got to think about maybe 2 coaches down the line, so
massively.
I do think there's an accountability on that one that's probably will make it quite stressful. I do think that could be I know people chat about the different roles in it, but I actually think that job is where the buck stops when it comes to the pressure of the game. You know what I mean? I think,
Yeah, it's a huge. It's a huge role,
yeah,
huge role.
but
Listen, I think he's more than capable of it. Another big
yeah,
area you didn't mention there as well is the women's game, because
yeah,
the women's game is obviously brought in under the professional umbrella as well, and the general manager is meant to be setting out the framework for that as well. So listen, it's huge, but I think what the one great thing about this is exactly their job is not reliant on what happens week on week. That falls on the head coach. They need to
yeah,
look at the bigger picture. And when you're, and like I keep saying, like if 7 Leinster starters in the pack for Ireland, I think it's something like nearly 15 in the squad of 23. If Irish rugby is going to be successful and going to be viable going into the future, Munster, Ulster, and Connacht have to have players on that Irish team. And it's
yeah.
up to these general managers to not worry about the team. It's about where do we find the next Ian Henderson? Where do we find the next Tadhg Byrne to come through? Where do we find these next players who are going to represent the provinces all the way around the country and play for Ireland too? So,
And Ireland need that too, Tommy.
yeah,
Like you know what I mean. As well as it is, and it's right. Leinster have the majority because you know what I mean. That they're the
and they
quality.
deserve it. Yeah.
No one taken away from that fact. But I must say, the bit I loved about watching Munster the other day was a young fella from Waterford, a young fella from Tipperary, a young fella from Clare. You know what I mean? West Cork. I wanted to make up every part of us. You know what I mean? As opposed to just one area, and I think that's really important as well. I love that Rory has taken this role on. You know, he would have loads of options and he could do different things. An awful lot of us, 2 of us, have kind of gone into the entertainment side. Loads have gone into punditry. Loads have gone into coaching. But I see this as actually nearly vocational stuff. Like these, there's brilliant people that have got back involved in rugby. Like we look at the people that, like Sid Miller, you know what I mean? A brilliant Ulster man that done so much for the game. I look at Tommy Kiernan in Cork, Noel Murphy, and this is what I think Rory is. I think fair balls to him. He's the first out of our generation to actually go into that kind of governance side of it, and he's really important there. I think he's vital in it because I know his standards, and I think he could make a massive effort in there. Of course, he's going to need, you know what I mean, a bit of support, especially starting out, but I think he could be a powerhouse in there.
Oh, he's going to be brilliant. And listen, like we've seen a lot of our as you generation, as you mentioned there, going to coaching. You likes of Johnny and likes of Paulie and Rog,
Yeah.
where
Elf,
it was
Andy
the
Farrell, you know what I mean? Me
well, then the
coaching in
generation
Ireland.
before that, you kind of had Guy Easterby, you had Bryn Cunningham, for instance, you had Jesus, David Humphreys is another one who's kind of gone into those roles. So there are people that have kind of gone into those director roles or more business side roles as well. And it's brilliant to see. You know, Redzer as well as somebody who's heavily involved in business and the rugby administration side too. So great to see. Congratulations to Rory.
Good on you, Frog.
Right, so where are you off to now then? What's the plans? You're in Dublin. You're a busy few days, have you?
Dublin, yeah, the late. I'm trying to kill the day till the late, Tommy. I'm a nervous wreck over it. You know, it is a different type of pressure, that one, isn't it?
Oh, listen, this is bread and butter to you. The problem is for you is that people expect you to be funny.
Yeah, that can be a problem. Yeah, all right.
But you're naturally funny, so you'll be grand.
Yeah,
Can you tell me who you're going on with?
well, the other coaches. So there's myself, Ellen Keane, Michael Darragh Macaulay, and Davy Fitz. Like,
Okay, right.
yeah, that should be a bit of
Well, you'll be
crack,
grand.
no
Do
fact,
the old booster
not
seat
the
gag with
Davy
Davy
here.
Fitz. They love that.
Ah, wild, yeah. So Fittest Family goes out on Sunday night, so we're trying to plug that a little bit. So yeah, hopefully that people are sitting down to watch the late after collecting all their sweets.
Well, one thing for sure is we're definitely going to be watching the Fittest Family, and hope you do well against feckin' Trimby on that
Go
as
on,
well.
Trimby.
Okay, right. Listen, a really busy weekend of rugby to go.
I'm not leaving you off. I want a few minutes, Tommy, just 2 seconds. A lot going on in Welsh rugby. Honestly, I played against you with the Ospreys. Please just give me your take at the moment of what you see. And I don't want to, just what's your gut saying at the moment? Because my understanding is we heard the Welsh kind of union coming out and saying they're going to go back to 3. They're going to keep Cardiff as the kind of capital city. And then they're going east and west. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and basically, it seems like the East is looked after by the Dragons, and that it's going to become a shootout between the Ospreys and Clonettley. And I'd just be interested in your take on one, what you make of it all. And as an Ospreys man, is there an opportunity for them to go with the Scarlets, or is it got to be one or none?
Right. So my take in it, we have there are 4 professional teams within the space of 62 miles. Right. Like if
Wow.
you think Belfast to Dublin is over 100 miles, right? Where they've got 4 professional teams in that space. Like I'd love to get a Welsh commentator on this to give
Yeah.
the real nuts and bolts behind the scenes, and we'll do that in a few weeks' time.
Do it.
I think, right, listen, keeping Cardiff is a no-brainer. You have to do that. They're in the capital city and they should be more successful than they are because, listen, the stadium, I was there at the weekend. It's unbelievable, right in the heart of it. It should be the absolute heartbeat
Yeah.
of that city. I can
And to be fair,
understand.
they're kind of turning the corner, 4 from 5 in the league at the moment. So you can, after losing a coach, they're doing
Yeah,
out of all the Welsh regions, they're
true.
probably doing the best.
True, but they're hot and cold. They're hot and cold, right? Then you have the Dragons who are further off to the east side. Yeah, great. There's big rugby heritage over there, Gwent, Newport, and even further north. And then, of course, you have the left-hand side over west. You have, the amount of clubs that are out there between Neath and Bridgend, Aberavon, Swansea, Clonettley, all the other ones out west that I don't even know. Like, it's serious rugby country. But I think going and breaking into 3 is half-arsed it. Personally, I think because you're just going to create a gap. Ospreys supporters aren't going to go and support the Scarlets, and Scarlet supporters aren't going to go support the Ospreys. I just think you draw a line down the middle, either the east and the west. We can all buy into it. Are you the left side of the country or the right side of the country? That's what we go with.
Just on that, sorry, Tommy, you keep Cardiff. So you're saying they should have kept going with 2.
Cardiff and Newport, join them together, along with maybe, I don't know, cut it from Bridgend across, and then everybody from Aberavon, Neath, Swansea, Scarlets, everything else to the left-hand side then would be the West Walians.
Because they did say their preferred option was 2, but the feedback they got from like supporters and people involved, but you could be right. Like, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I remember when you'd go play Clonettley, there was a bigger crowd than when you'd go play the Scarlets.
Yeah.
You know, so
Big
why are
time.
they trying to please these people that aren't there anyway? You know?
Listen, this is where Welsh rugby's got it all wrong. They're too busy nearly listening to the people and actually not thinking about, right, what makes sense? What makes sense here? Like, what's going to actually work, and how are we going to make this a commercial entity where we can actually build Welsh rugby up right to where it was? Because I was in a shopping centre in Cardiff the weekend. You saw this big statue of the great Gareth Edwards in the middle of it. And I'd say a lot of Welsh people don't even know who that is nowadays. And it's a sad state of affairs. But I do want to wrap it up now, and I do want to get somebody on from Wales to give us a real understanding of what the situation is behind the scenes. Listen, finally, I do want to give a shout out to 15 Kings, of course, for sponsoring the podcast.
Hey.
And more importantly than that, I want to say to get on to Ticketmaster. Tickets go on sale at 10 o'clock today. We'd love you to buy tickets to come and watch the Offload live. And if you do that, of course, you'll be in with a draw to win tickets to Ireland against Japan next weekend. It's going to be a cracker of a day. And next March, it's going to be cracker even better again.
Don't worry about Bon Jovi or Florence and the Machine or Westlife. Come along and see the lads in Belfast, Limerick, Cork and Dublin. We'd love to see you, and we're going to have a great night.
Listen, thanks so much, Donncha. Great to see you. Best of luck on the late tonight, and I hope you get the booster seat for Davy Fitz. Good luck.
Good luck.